Hi everyone, I'm back. It's been a very long year. I ended up being gone way longer than I had anticipated being gone. What was only supposed to be a couple months to get through the wedding and whatnot ended up being almost over over a year, because we are now coming up on our 1 year wedding anniversary. And I figured, it's about time that I get back into this. So I've had a few things that I've made that I want to kind of share with you guys, and then I have some news about some upcoming things that I'm hoping to get out relatively soon. So, the first project that I want to share with you guys is what I'm referring to as our honeymoon blanket. So, we went to the mountains in Colorado for our honeymoon. So, I found a pattern that kind of like what's the I want to say memorializes, because that's not the right word, but kind of embodies that trip for us. It was the first time that I've been out to Colorado. I've seen the mountains before, um, but I wanted something that was going to be special for that. So I made this blanket. It took me probably a couple months after we got back from our honeymoon to get this finished, but I'll try to get as much of it in frame for you as I can. But the sun didn't quite turn out the way that I wanted it to. It's a little egg shaped, but I think that's because I misread the pattern. I think I got my stitches wrong. But got my little helper in here. We have a new dog, so you might hear her in the background. But this is what I did for our honeymoon blanket. I'll see if I can get a picture put up on screen of the like a full picture of it, because it turned out really great. But this was the Big Mountains blanket by Willow Crochet, and all the patterns that I've got, I will link down below in the description for you guys. So if you want these patterns, you can find them. Because I bought this pattern like a year ago. I don't remember if I paid for it or not, but I will find out and put that in the description. But this blanket, it's not quite big enough to fit over our entire bed, but it's great to snuggle up with on the couch. And now that I have an extra snuggle buddy who I have to fight them for the blankets for, um, yeah, I'm really happy with the way that this turned out. This is my first tapestry crochet blanket that I have finished, so I was really happy with the way that this one came out. So the next blanket that I made, and I just finished this one not too long ago, is the Folktales blanket. I found this one on Ravelry. I believe this was a free pattern, but it's by the West Yorkshire Spinners. This one is written in UK terms, but it's also a mosaic. For some of the squares on here are mosaic crochet, so that was something new that I learned working on this project. But I'm really happy with the way that this blanket turned out. The colors, so I do have to say, I did change the way that the border was, just because I wanted to incorporate, all the colors in here. But the colors, so I'm usually not very good at putting colors together. Like, that's just something I struggle with. But for Christmas last year, my grandparents got me the color blocks. I don't have them with me. They're upstairs in my living room at the moment. But they're basically like those paint palettes that, or I'm gonna call it a paint palette. It's what you get when you go to the paint department at your hardware store, and they've got all the different shades and the ones that go together. So I just found a one of those that I really liked and put it together in this blanket. I think this turned out really well. This is used up a lot of the big twist yarn that I had left. I still have some, but it used up quite a bit of that. So we're actually going to be going on vacation in September to Hirschner's. So I'm hoping that they've got that big twist in stock, because I'm going to stock up while we're there. It's going to be not too far off from where we're staying. So I need more yarn. Really, I don't, because the wall over here, I'll have to show you, is entirely 2 closets full of yarn that is overflowing. And I have more yarn upstairs for another project that I'm getting ready to start, which you'll guys will see on this channel. That's actually going to be a tutorial that I'm going to be working on. More on that later. But that was the second blanket that I made. So the next one I don't actually have with me, because I made it for someone, and someone commissioned me to make this piece. But it is the Twisted Witch hat from Crochetverse, and I'll put a picture up on the screen. This was a super cool project. Would I make another one of these? Absolutely not. This hurt my hands so bad. It was so much fun to make, don't get me wrong, but it just, I don't know if I would do it again. This was the first wearable that I had made for someone else. It's the first, no, I take that back. I've made a hat for someone before, years and years ago. But I struggled with this one quite a bit, only because when I first made it, it was definitely a little too small. It was really, really tight. So I ended up going out and getting a foam head mannequin thing and getting the hat wet. Like, I threw it in the wash, pulled it out, and then I wrapped towels over the foam head and pulled as hard as I possibly could to get this hat around the towels on this foam mannequin to stretch it out. Eventually I got it to stretch out. It took a couple of tries and extra folding of the towels to kind of stretch it out a little bit more. Making wearables that need to be specific sizes is definitely more difficult than I thought it was going to be. Like, I knew it was going to be hard, but it was definitely more difficult than I thought it was going to be. So that's definitely something that I would like to get more practice on. And that's something that I'm going to tackle kind of, in a sense, when we go on our vacation in September, because we're going to have a lot of time in the car. I'm going to attempt to learn how to knit. Specifically, I would like to make a pair of socks. I've got knitting needles. I have sock yarn. So I'm hoping to find an easy knitting pattern. I kind of know how to knit. I took a class, probably about 6 years ago. I took a class at my local Joann's for the basics of knitting. I know I have it somewhere. I made like a little washcloth thing, and it was just your basic knit and purl stitches. Like, it was nothing fancy. But I'm really hoping to be able to really try and learn how to do this and really kind of get a hold of how to do this, because I would love to be able to say, I make my own socks. I don't need them to match. They don't need to be perfect, and none of my socks match when I wear them anyway. Except for today, where I'm wearing black socks because we went out for a walk and I wanted something light. But most of my socks, I get like the fun print ones. They don't match. So I don't need my homemade socks to be perfectly matching either. So, but that's going to be a whole thing. But hopefully I'll remember to film a little bit of it so you guys kind of can see me learning how to knit and the struggles that I kind of have with that, because I'm certain it's going to be a challenge. I've heard that if you learn how to crochet first, trying to learn how to knit becomes a lot more difficult. But I think it just comes down to it's different motions you're not used to. I can't imagine that it's going to be any different for somebody who learned how to knit first and then learns how to crochet. So if you have any tips, if you know how to knit, drop them down in the comments section, because I will take any and all information that I can get for anything that might make it a little bit easier. So one of the projects that I did in between those blankets was that I made my first shawl. And you can really see the pattern with the light coming through it. This is the Sis Shawl as in sis as in sister, so SIS. This one was by Joanna Grizelk. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce her last name, but again, it'll be linked down in the description. I think this one was free on Ravelry. I may have paid for it, but I think it was free. I've got one end that I need to weave in. I just haven't done so. But I figured this would be perfect because we take the dog out for a walk. So it got really hot really fast after I made this, so I didn't really get a chance to use it before it got too hot outside. So I'm hoping in the fall I'll be able to get a little more use out of it. But then this yarn was some alpaca yarn that my husband bought for me when it was very early on in our relationship. I had never had, I'm gonna say fancy yarn, but I had never had like a wool or an alpaca type yarn before. So it was project paralysis. I didn't know what to make because I wanted the project to be perfect. And ultimately it was one of those that it's been 5 years probably since he bought me this yarn that I finally got around to using it. But when we were out on our honeymoon, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a shawl with it. I don't know what kind yet, but I'm gonna figure it out. And we went to a local yarn store, Cowgirl Yarn in Wyoming, I think. And I'm gonna have to double check. I'll put it up on the screen. Cute little yarn shop, like absolutely loved it. Super duper cute. But I got a shawl pin that it's a little cat. Because at the time we did not have a dog. So everything is cat, but slowly things are now becoming, well, we need dog things, we need, you know, dog themed things, I need Dalmatian themed things because we have a Dalmatian. Super cute, absolutely adorable. I'll put a picture of her up on screen. But she's just an absolute delight. She is so cute. But yeah, so this is my walking shawl. I've been watching that Outlander, Blood of My Blood, so I feel very, I don't want to say medieval, that's not the right word, but very olden time when I wear this shawl, which is kind of goofy. But I made this for me, and it turned out so good. And the pattern, once I understood what I was looking at, because it's just a chart, there's no written instructions. It took me a hot second to get it figured out. There was a lot of frogging and redoing and frogging and redoing and frogging and redoing. But this is the first project that I have worked on that it was exclusively like a diagram. So that was a huge learning curve for me. I had seen them before. I was kind of familiar with some of the symbols and stuff, but this is the first time I had actually done a project with just a diagram. But I was super happy with the way that this worked out. And I kept repeating the pattern until I ran out of yarn. I think I had 4 or 5 skeins of this. I don't remember exactly how much I had, but I made this one earlier this year. I think it was like April or May that I made this one. So one of the other big things that has been consuming a lot of my time lately is that I have been working on designing patterns, specifically like tapestry crochet or well, here, I'll show you. I'm wanting to do the wall hangings. I've been talking about for a long time that I wanted to do like a series of wall hangings that are all based on the Rider-Waite tarot cards. That's not what this is, but I finally have all of the graphs done, and I'm working on getting the written patterns for them. They're going to be super simple, like within what I can do with the limits of working through Stitch Fiddle, but I've got every single card done. Then that led me down a rabbit hole where I was like, okay, well, I've done all these, what else can I do? So I made wall hangings that are the alchemical symbols for the 4 elements as wall hangings. And this I am working on currently to get patterns I've got the pattern written up for one of them with photos, and it looks all great and whatnot, but I'm going to be making tutorial videos for these as well. But I've got all 4 elements. So we've got fire, and then we have earth. And I should say that these are all done using bobble single crochet, which to me makes it look a lot nicer for very simplistic images. I've been toying around with some different stitching ideas for doing the tarot cards. Excuse me, just because they're going to be a little more intricate with how many color changes there are. But here is the one I did for water. And then the one for air. I do have color correspondence for the colors associated with each element. I haven't made up my mind yet whether or not I want to do, what's the word? Oh, brain fart. If I wanted to do one for spirit, because it's just going to be like a circle, which, I mean, these are just triangles. So, I mean, I could do that. If there's any interest in these will be the first patterns that I'm going to be releasing. My plan is to put them on Ravelry and Ribbler. I'm not going to do any patterns on Etsy. It looks like there's just too much negativity going on with Etsy right now. So I'm just going to stay away from Etsy. But these ones will probably only be a couple dollars. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with those ones yet, but I am also going to film tutorials to go along with that. But if you want the written pattern and the graph to go along with it, that's going to be what is available for purchase. But it's important to me. I don't know if you could hear her come barreling down the stairs. It's important to me that there's access to patterns. And if you want, I'm going to say premium, then that you pay for them. I mean, that's just genuinely what I believe in. And that's kind of what I want to carry forward with my patterns, is that I will have a free tutorial on YouTube for them. I'm also going to be doing like stitch tutorials and whatnot, so that way if somebody who's very, very new to crochet, they can come in and say, here's a link to every technique that you need in order to be able to make this pattern. Here are videos so that you have everything at your hands or at your fingertips to be able to make this project. Accessibility is big. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to make it work for left-handed crocheters. I've seen online where people just flip the video. And for simplistic patterns like those, I could see, okay, that could work because it's a mirror image. But for like the tarot cards, where it's not necessarily going to be a mirror image, just from the way that it is, that I got to figure out how I'm going to be able to do it for left-handed crocheters as well. Like I said, accessibility is a big thing for me. So I want to be able to make sure that I'm doing the most that I can to be as accessible as possible for everybody, kind of thing. I think with the tarot card ones, when those come along, they'll probably be a little more expensive. I'm leaning like $5 maybe on those ones. I think those ones I'm going to do 2 or 3, but I haven't 100% decided on what I'm going to do for those. If you want to check out some of the other patterns that I've done, I do have some free patterns on my website, Yarnfully Wonderful at wordpress.com. It's a mouthful, but I'll link that down in the description as well. But that's kind of what I've been working on. My current project right now is by the same person who wanted the hat. They're wanting me to make a she's sniffing the yarn over here. She doesn't get to come down in the basement very often because things are not 100% puppy proof at the moment, but we're working on that. But he wanted me there's a kid that he knows that he wants a creeper pencil pouch, but he wants it to look 3D, like he wants it to be 3D. And struggling with that concept just a little bit. I've got some of it made. I'm just using the pixel art image from the internet for a creeper. But it's how I'm going to make it work and be big enough to put pencils in. So we're a little brain fart on that one. I'm taking my time. I wanted to have it done a while ago, but it's just, it's a little more complicated because I originally misunderstood him and I thought he just wanted a creeper plushie. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. That's easy. But no, he wanted a pencil pouch that was a creeper. So, but when I get that done, I'll definitely have to post pictures. I know I haven't posted anything on Instagram lately. I probably should. You know, I have one of those if you want to check it out. There's not a whole lot on there. Sometimes remembering to put things on social media because I don't do a whole lot for my personal life on social media. I don't always remember. So, but I'm trying to get better about it. So, but that's kind of what I've been up to. Oh, one of the other things, because I have 1,000,001 freaking ideas. Oh, squirrel. I just thought of another project that I did. Here's another image. I did a baby mobile for my best friend for her first kid. It is the Moon and Stars Baby Mobile by Octopus Crochet. I can't believe I forgot this one. This one was great. I thoroughly enjoyed this project. Like, I was super ecstatic. Like, I get to be an aunt again? Heck yes. Like, super exciting. But another project. So I haven't just not been crocheting or doing anything. I've been doing a lot of things. It's just a lot of personal projects that I probably could have filmed, but you know, life. It just, I'm going to try and be better about that, but we'll see how that goes. So I'm hoping sometime soon that I can start getting those videos up for patterns and getting the patterns released, getting the tutorials up. And then I had another idea, which is where I originally started with this, but we squirreled super hard, is that I have like 1,000,001 freaking ideas and I can't ever just pick one and just go with it. Like, I just can't. Like, we're a whole freaking mess up here. But what I've been doing, get over here on my bookshelf, is that when we go yard sailing, is that I am picking up like vintage, like quilting books. Well, really any kind of, I'm gonna say vintage. Any kind of older crochet books, knitting books, quilting books. The quilting, while I am learning how to sew, my mother-in-law has been super helpful with teaching me some things. Excuse me, it's my soda. She actually helped me make a dog bed cover for our dog. And that was my first, I shouldn't say my first, because I've sewn some things, but I'm not great at it yet. We're still figuring that out. But what I want to do is take quilting patterns and turn them into crochet patterns. Because we can't do small. It has to be really big. And I'm still kind of figuring out what I want to do, like logistics wise for that one. But like, I love looking at quilt patterns. Like I've always found them super pretty. I just didn't learn to sew the way that I learned how to crochet. I think I've mentioned it on here before that my late grandma on my mom's side was the one who taught me how to crochet. So I knew from a very young age how to crochet. And then it was kind of one of those, I only knew the very basics. So everything that I know now, or most of what I know now, I should say, is all stuff that was self-taught right before and then during COVID. Because I had picked it up and put it down, you know, through elementary school, middle school, high school, but it wasn't until I was an adult living on my own and needing something to kind of occupy my time that it's like, you know what, we're gonna give this another go. And then from there, it's just been nonstop. That's pretty much all I do. But there is a book that, another project that I want to do is I have a book that belonged to my grandma, which kind of spawned this whole I want vintage patterns. But she had made a blanket in here, oh, forever. I mean, I was young when she made it. I mean, real young. But this book, it's got so many beautiful patterns. Oh, now I can't find it. It was in here. But anyway, she has a bunch of them in this little book that she had like earmarked. And I think these were ones that she wanted to make, but just never got to. I'm saying because my grandma passed away when I was 12. So she didn't have I don't want to say a lot of time, because that's not necessarily true. But I don't think she was able to get to the things that she wanted to get done, as far as like projects and stuff go. But I have the blanket, actually. I stole the blanket from my mom because I wanted the blanket. I'll have to see if I can dig it out. But, oh, here it is. Pretty Pansies. This is the one that she made. But I have this blanket and it is falling apart. And my ultimate goal is I would like to be able to repair it. But I would like to also recreate it myself. But like I said, there's a bunch of in here that have like little dog ears that I want to be able to go through and make the projects that my grandma wanted to make but never got the opportunity to make. So that, because, you know, I have to have 1,000,001 freaking projects. It's gonna come back and bite me. I know it is. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we've been up to. I've got a bunch of stuff that I'm super excited to start doing, to really kind of get out there and start, you know, putting more content out, putting more patterns out, and just in general having fun. You know, I don't want this to get to a point where I don't enjoy it, because then what's the point of it? But long term, you know, big dream goals, I would love to be able to retire my husband. Don't know that that's going to be possible, but big dreams. But we got to start somewhere. So, and the only way to do it is just to get started. So that's kind of what we're doing today. So, but yeah, I feel like this is an awkward ending. I don't know how to end this. This is, it's been a little while since I filmed. So, with that, I guess I'm gonna say goodbye for now. And I will see you in the next video. Hopefully, it'll be a tutorial for your faces. For those. These wall hangings. So, I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Oh, one last thing before we go. I got these when Joann's was closing. Oh, that's the same one. Yeah. Oh, and I also have my apron still. So you may or may not see that in some videos. Because why not? Why not?